Good morning, boys. I'm trying to get an angle where the light isn't so bad. We'll do the video like this to block out the light. We're working from home today. It is Tuesday. Yesterday was a rough day. We made 75 phone calls, and we had a bunch of meetings booked, and we're getting there on some sort of a system. I want results. I just want results, and I'm not getting them. And so I'm either not going after the right people, my product isn't good enough, I don't know what I need to do. I don't quite know. I don't know. And I want results. And I'm impatient. And everything that goes along with it. Now, I was talking to one of my mentors, Xavier, the other day, and, I went through all the people that have responded, that are interested to some degree, right? Or they pushed me off on a phone call or whatever. And there's about 100 people there. There's got to be some business just in there alone without any cold calls. So I'm going to go back through that list, figure out who actually wants to work with me and who doesn't. And it's okay if they don't. I also need to I've started doing the Powerlist things again. So I think I showed you guys yesterday, but 1, 2, 3, 4, didn't get number 5 done. So lost yesterday, but I would still consider it a win in some sense, right? Pure numbers, it was a loss. But I'm making progress because on a normal situation, I wouldn't have been able to work on my group posting. I wouldn't have been able to work on my personal outreach. I wouldn't have been able to make 75 phone calls. So it's just about being more intentional, making sure that I'm also understanding what my limitations are. What my expectations of myself are may not be realistic right now, right? A good example of this is that, if I were to go start back at the gym right now, I normally could squat 225 pounds. I may not be able to do that. So even though I have done it in the past, doesn't mean that I can do it in the future. And more importantly, and so I was going to stop this video, but I'm not because I was going to restart it. It's just me riffing. If you don't know what your limits are, then you have to test those limits. And so right now, my limit is 75 calls, right? Excuse me, my limit is not 75 calls. It's 100 calls. I make 100 phone calls in a day and I start to get burnt out. I just feel it, right? And so yesterday I made 75 calls. Why did I not get to 100? Well, I didn't get to 100 because of those 75 calls, about 6 or 7 of them were long conversations that could lead to actual business. And so those 6 to 7 15-minute conversations took away from the time that I could finish the other 25. And so what's less important, as I'm realizing, is that it's not necessarily about the volume of calls that you're making, although that is important, but it's the quality of the calls, right? Because I can make 100 calls and 100 people not pick up. I could be done with that in 4 hours. Or I could actually get business. So what I may end up thinking about doing is shifting it into not necessarily how many calls I make, but how many meetings I have, or how many pickups I have, or how many. So all of these metrics and all of these variables are important. I'm not tracking all of them right now. I am Wild West, catch as catch can, pick up as much business as I can. I'm sure there is a better way to do it, and there are better systems out there, but right now, I can't invest in those types of systems. So I'm gonna just do it the best way that I know how. And some days I'll get 100 calls, some days I'll get 50 calls, some days I'll get 75 calls. But really it's about how many people pick up and how many conversations I have, because those conversations can lead to business. Best example of it was one guy yesterday, his name's Cameron. I'm thinking we're going to be working together. I'm not sure yet, but he, sorry, mom's calling me. Basically, he really likes what I offer. He needs to figure out what's going to work best for his business. I gave him some examples and some ideas on as to what I would do, but that doesn't mean he's going to move forward. It just means that that conversation was a 45-minute conversation yesterday, and that is the type of conversation that would lead to future business. Whether I work with him or not, honing that skill set, having those conversations over and over again are what's important. So we had jiu-jitsu last night. It was very good. Regular training, and Can you please get the gate? All right, so I got to run. But I love you guys. Hope everything's well. I'm learning. I'm growing. And we'll go from there. So, love you.